when I have found a solution for how to fix this, I'm going to use fiberglass filler, and I've just made this rudimentary form here. I've knocked this out of wood, and I'm going to put the fiberglass against here, and this is just support. And I'm also going to fix this one with fiberglass when I put this on, and then I have to see about the other two, if I'm going to use fiberglass on them too, or if it's just going to be glue. So that's what I will be doing next. This one is the one that should go in here, I think, and it fits okay there. If I use fiberglass filler and do it wrong, then this will be lifted from this. So the best would probably be to use a combination of fiberglass and some other means like epoxy glue or something, but I think I'm just going to wiggle it. So I'm going to mix some filler and come back. This stuff is normally quite fast to dry, so I'm going to apply some here like glue, just something like that. And hope that stays in place. And then I'm just going to take the rest of this and just this might be one of those things that seemed like a good idea at the time. Because I really can't see where this should fit when I have filled this with this junk. And my idea was that I was going to fill this quite good, and then I was just going to file it down to about the level I need. And my thought was that whatever I did with this besel, when I don't have the proper pieces of plastic, would be better than not doing anything at all. This is fiberglass reinforced, you know, so there are some tiny threads of fiberglass inside this, and that's what makes this really horrible to apply. And this is really meant to be the first foundation of fillers for a hole in your car's body or something. I don't think whoever made this had computer repairs in mind. I think that will be about as good as I will get this. I think this might turn out to be good enough, but it's much too early for me to say. But at least this seems like it will be staying in place, and maybe I just can tackle these two at the same time and just see how it goes. we still have to see if this fiberglass actually sticks to this plastic. I think it does, because this almost sticks to anything. But if it don't, then we have made a real mess for ourselves here, because this will not be easy to clean off afterwards. And how fast this dries, that really depends on how much filler you have and how much of the accelerator component you apply. But that we will find out. Normally when I apply this, I don't have enough time to apply anything before it starts to dry out. And that has not been the case so far here, so we have to see. My trusty old yellow screwdriver is really put to the test here. Remove as much of this gunk as I can. And then it will be to let this dry until tomorrow. And then I will try to see if it actually sticks. This is the space key that I left out in the sun. And as you can see, there are still some markings that identify where this sticker was, but it's much less dominant than it was, and it's also part of the texture, because this is much more smooth where there was no sticker, and this sticker has made this keep its original texture on the surface. But this is not the main topic now. Now we are looking into the bezel of the screen, and last I did was to actually I made this piece of wood to fit into this shape of the bezel, and I used this fiberglass filler to glue this, and I'm not totally satisfied with the finish of this stuff, because the fiberglass is a bit all over the place, but mainly I can see this is really solid, and as a glue I think this is real good, and I think this will stick. So what we really need to see if we can get this wood out of here, and see if we have managed to do something about the frame, and that we can form this to be the shape of the monitor. So that's what we will do now. We will remove this piece of wood. This piece was just to keep this other piece in place while we apply the filler. And this is just white Gorilla tape. It's not the best of the duct kind of tapes, but it's really solid because it's thick. This won't come off easy, so I really think I have to maybe cut down this wood with some kind of iron. I have to see what's the best approach for this. Maybe I just use this stem iron and try to break the wood. It won't damage the plastic, but because as you can see, this goes beyond the frame of the plastic. And that was so by design. Could of course have applied some oil on top of this wood to make it easier to get it off, but I'm not sure. I've never done anything like this on computer stuff with filler before. So there's a first for everything. This is the more dangerous way. I really won't do this. If I apply this, will that be better? Yes, maybe like so. Because I really want to not make any hard knocks on the plastic. There, yes. There it came loose. And now the big surprise is, how does this look? And I would say not bad, but there are some places down here where this does not fill the contour of the screen perfectly, but I think this is not bad at all. And I will just take a file and remove some of the uneven surface here, and we see how this goes. And as we said when we started, this is never going to be a perfect repair, because this plastic is damaged all over, and the grills and the back of the screen and so on. But we really need to keep the function of the screen, and this tilting bezel is of course an integral part of the functionality of the screen. Normally when you do filing of fiberglass, you should wear a mask of some sort, but this is really not a big amount of dust here. Of course, this needs to follow the contour of the screen, and I think we are really close to that already. So this will just be a minor adjustment afterwards. And ideally I should have one more layer with filler of some sort to even out this area, but this fiberglass filler is really not meant for this kind of fine work. It's meant to have some other kind of filler on top of it. And I think we have to do that if we want to have this more even. So I will just see how far this can be taken with the fiberglass filler, and we take it from there. And we will of course in this process make some scratch mark in the original plastic, and then we will see how the colors and the texture of this will change when we have the file applied to this plastic. I will just top this off with some really fine wet sanding paper to gloss out the surface a bit. Of course, the finest one I can find right now is just 240, and that's really not the best for this kind of work, but that will do. And this broken piece is on the top of the screen, so it will of course show, but I don't know how much. But we will try to rub this clean now with just some paper and just see what the result will be. This is the end result of the besel, and as you can see, the filler has filled out the space real nice, and even though there are some unevenness in the surface of this, I'm not going to bother with another layer of filler on this. And on the inside we used the same kind of filler to glue these in places, and I also applied some on the sides here to add some structural strength. And this one in this corner is totally baked in, but these two in these corners are actually just kind of strengthened just on the outside. So this piece is now finished for painting before I put it back in the monitor case. Now we're going to look into some of the other problems with the plastic. This here is cracked here just over the Apple II label, and we also have the crack here in the middle of the case that's quite severe. And I don't have a very good idea how to tackle this without destroying the case more, so I'm going to fill this gap with some super glue, and I'm going to see what I can do on the back to strengthen this. Either I can melt some plastic over here, or I can put some other plastic and glue it to the case. We just have to wiggle it along, because we have to see each dent and crack might have to have its own solution. So I will just try to see how this goes. And the first thing I was thinking of was to actually held this crack like so, to widen it a bit and put on some super glue. Afterwards I'm going just to rub off most of the glue and hope that it will keep this crack shut. Maybe if I try to bend it around something, it will be easier. Yes. I will just try to put this in a vice grip somehow to widen the gap. If this looks kind of brutal to you, that's actually no coincidence, because it really is. But I have to somehow bend this to make the crack open up, and my thinking was that this will be the best way to actually do that. And then I have to use some brutal technique here, and this is just for a short moment where I apply the glue, and then this force will be taken off. So now you can see, or maybe you can not, but this actually was my attempt to open up the crack, and I will apply the glue now in the crack, and then I will remove the vices. I'm not sure if I got the glue inside the crack everywhere, but I don't think that matters very much. And now I just remove the force and try to make this as flat. Sorry, the vise was dropping. And this is about as flat as it gets, I think. On this side I won't bother to take away the excess glue. Yes, and then there was this crack that went just through the apple sticker, and I'm not sure how good this sticker sticks on, or if this is just plastic or if this is aluminium, but you can see underneath here you have these holes to maybe undo this, or maybe this just was holes to remove the air, so when this was pushed in place by a machine or something, the air that was trapped underneath could escape. But I will try to remove this. If it's not possible to remove them, I will just glue this from the underside and leave it be, so I don't destroy these stickers more. We have some of the same issues here, where this is cracked a lot, and I do need to put some glue in these cracks before I do anything else. And here you have a good crack to fill with glue, but you have to be really careful, because there is just a small amount of plastic keeping this in place as it is now. So I will try to be as careful as possible with this. I think it's best to put pressure on this from this side. I'm not sure how quick this glue will dry, but it should be very quick drying, but of course there are some variations in this. Yeah, I will leave that for maybe 5 minutes to see if the surface glue dries up. Yeah, and here you have the biggest crack on this. It's all this side here, and inside here you have the biggest problem, because this crack is really narrow, so we have to see if we can get some glue in beneath there. We apply a good amount of glue. It's easier to take this off afterwards. also going to try to stick some in from this side, on these two bottommost here, and then I will try to close the gap. Yes, like that. Yeah, you can't see this on camera. No, you can maybe. But I will just try to apply some force here while this dries. It seems like the glue is sticking on this, but there are some small cracks here. Now the main pieces are this one and these two small pieces here. And that means I actually missing some piece, because I only have one of these missing grills here, or ribs, or what you call them. And that might not be such a big problem, but I need to do something about this, and maybe I just model one out of fiberglass filler or something. But this actually led me to believe that there was some damage on this computer before it was packed, because I have been going through all the packing materials and there are no traces of this anywhere. So this one actually was broken off, or it's inside some intricate piece of something, the floppy drives or something else, because it's not here. So now I will glue these pieces back on, and this piece here is very difficult to fit in. So I don't know what the best way to do this, if this is going to be the first one. Yeah, maybe it is. If I take that one first and then I can take this one. Yes, that might prove to be a good solution. So I will glue this one in first and then I will take this one. And I of course forgot to clean these pieces. So I have to rub off some of the dirt from the surface, so the paint will stick when I paint this case afterwards. I will need fresh glue because I was out. I actually tried the piece and it should fit, but it was a bit of wiggling to get it in place like so. And I of course spilled a lot of this gunk on my fingers. Yeah, and now I will let this piece dry before I take this one, because it might affect, or maybe not. Maybe I just can, just this piece down here. Yeah, this actually is possible to. Yeah, I will just glue it in. This is some good surfaces to stick glue on, because the plastic is quite thick. So I do think it will stick when it first get hold here. starting to look much better already. And this one is supposed to go like this. I might have to use some tape or something to make this stick in. And that was actually all the pieces I got for this case. For the monitor, I got a lot of pieces. And I don't know if it's possible to fit this in somehow, or if I just have to wingle a bit with some other plastic or some other means of making this look good, because this is a real jigsaw puzzle, and here I also don't know if I miss anything. I for sure miss some of these plastics, because every one of them is gone almost, and this is only covering half the area. And I was picking out a lot of them from the monitor electronics and case and everything, but this is all the pieces I actually found. So maybe it's possible to take a grill from something else and just glue it in to make it look okay, but this will never be in pristine condition anyway, so let's see what we have to do when it gets that far. Yeah, so that's it for this episode. In the next episode I will try to fix some of the plastics on the monitor, and I also might try to strengthen some of these before I rub it down to make this a paintable surface. I of course have to use some filler and maybe some sanding down on these areas here where the cracks is both big and noticeable. But I'm very glad that I got this gluing to work so that this surface will stick together when I paint it. Otherwise it will be impossible to make some strengthening on just this side and make this stick. So I have to do that, and I also have to model this piece and make this fit in this hole. So I will come back with that in the next episode. So thanks for watching, and hope to see you again soon in the next episode.